The following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
To the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
Yo, it's the Adventures of Pipeman here on W4CY Radio, the Positively Pipeman segment. And as the Pipeman starts his holiday tour, the Pipeman Radio tour is over for 2025. But now I'm on the Pipeman holiday tour because I have 4 kids, 8 grandkids, and it's a lot of people I have to visit and go to. So actually, I have got some new technology for my superpowers where I can be 2 places at once. So I am up in the Panhandle, Florida, at my daughter's house for Hanukkah, but I'm also here in the studio in Palm Beach Gardens, South Florida, doing the show. I have figured out how to do both, and I'm here doing it. And today's a great show, because we will have the pet health guru come on first, and we're going to talk about, is my pet addicted? And you'll hear what that's about. And then after that, we're going to run some commercials for some festivals that we're giving away tickets for. So you can literally go to any of my socials at Pipeman Radio. Tell me you want to be entered to win. Pick the festival you want to go to. You'll see the commercials today. So far, we're doing 2 that we're doing ticket giveaways for, and you will be entered to win. And then we're going to go into the powerful business strategy segment of the show with our resident expert, Michael Barbarita, and he's going to talk about live events and webinars. And those are some of my favorite things. Obviously, I go on the Pipeman Radio tour. However, right now, let's go to one of my favorite guests ever, who is the longest running guest on my show, with the longest running show next to mine on our network. So let's welcome in the pet health guru.
Hey, how you doing, Dean?
Hello, pet health guru. How are you?
That's great to be here. It's always good to talk to you on the show and try to get some information out there for our people.
Oh yeah, no doubt. We
course,
need a lot of information for these people, to be honest.
Oh, it's crazy. It's really crazy out there, the things that are going on and all the misinformation. Every day I get a ton of text messages, email, social media. This world is nuts.
Are you kidding me? I say that every day. Talk about nuts. It's beyond nuts, in my opinion.
It's actually, the amount of fraudulent information that's given, out there, especially, in the medical and health industry. Of course, we find it in the food industry as well. It drives me crazy every day. I have to calm down and try to get through it. And then I look in the eyes of the people I'm talking to, and all you see is a blank stare.
Totally. And so, like, all right, I talked about, is my pet addicted? That's why I said in the beginning. Now, I am blown away of how this insanity of this world of pumping humans up with drugs has turned into, like, all these people. It really annoys me. All these people that have all these issues that they take all these meds for for some reason they think their pets have all the same issues as them, like it's genetic or something. And that, like, she's not going to like it very much, but somebody I know very intimately has one of their cats on cat Prozac.
Yeah. Happens all the time. And it's an issue that I deal with every week. Actually, we're going to be talking a little bit on this week's show on the Pet Health Cafe. I've got a special guest coming in, but we're going to talk about how the holistic community, now their option is, if you want natural health, is you have to go to social media because there's no doctors out there that freaking know what they're talking about.
Wow. Well, that reminds me of like criminal cases now. The number one piece of evidence is social media. It's insane.
It is. It really is.
What's insane is that people are stupid enough that it became the number one source, because people incriminate themselves on social media all the time. Hello, people. I don't know what's going on, what drugs you're on that big pharma's giving you, but if you put it on the internet, you're gonna get busted. Just saying.
Yeah, it's a confession, basically.
Totally. It's kind of like, too. Okay, I don't know how you feel about this, but just because marijuana is legal in some states, and just because medical is legal, doesn't mean you should be getting on your podcast and puffing a blunt the whole time, or go on TikTok, or first of all, it's still federally illegal, idiots. You can still go to jail for it. And by the way, just because you have a medical thing or whatever, doesn't mean you can smoke anywhere you want, when you want, whatever. It's a private thing. Like, are you going there and popping your Xanaxes on your podcast or on your TikTok? Yeah, you probably are, and that's stupid too.
Yeah, that really is. And, all the drugs are an issue anymore on our pets because it's a brand new market for the pharmaceutical companies, because first off, the client using the substance can't complain very much. Their only expression is I fall over dead, basically, with an overdose. But everything else, it's just, and when you look at the way they even prescribe, especially, we mentioned in the teaser about painkillers. Take your dog, cat in for routine surgery, which is no such thing anyway. It should all be emergency medicine, but they put your dog or cat on painkillers for 2 weeks with a specific amount, a specific dosage, and send you out the door. There's no follow-up. And then, of course, when they get down to the end of the 2 weeks, it's cold turkey.
Well, not only that, they get big money if the pills kill the animal. So why should there be follow-up? Because then they get another big paycheck for, whatever they got to do.
Yeah, the disposal services. Yeah, I know. It's so exasperating because there is no follow-up, really. There's, it's just, they're drug dealers.
How do you know if this is helping the animals? The animals can't speak, okay? And how do animals survive in the wild without a pharmacy? That's what I want to know, okay?
Well, they're intuitive. Dogs, cats, wild animals, they will seek out different herbs, botanicals, different puddles or water sources where there's some healing benefits to that. And they know exactly what to do. They're smarter than the veterinarians in that respect. They know exactly what they need. And, part of the proof of that is when it comes to chemicals, especially our dogs, they've got such sensitive nose. They can tell that there's a chemical in that pill that's not good for them. And here you are playing sumo wrestler with your dog to try to get a freaking tablet or capsule down their throat. And, half the time they spit up, they're not getting much benefit of it. The only one that's benefiting is the doctor that sold it.
And you're practically suffocating them to get them to swallow it.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me, okay, so you're going to laugh, but the pipe man as a baby, if he didn't like food, I would do this. And literally, my mother would not let me leave the high chair until I swallowed that food, and sometimes even hold my nose to get me to swallow it. And that's what we do to these poor animals.
Yeah, yeah, it's exactly right. And and as a pet owner, there's a lot of them that just get fed up with it, trying to do it, and they don't get any medication at all. Not that the medication would necessarily help them, like I say, because there's all kinds of the plethora of real nutrition that number one would have prevented them to have this procedure done, but number two will do the healing. And it's not about a single therapy. Doctors and veterinarians look at a single modality of treatment. It's got to be either the chemicals, the radiation, or the cutting. And it's only within a small, narrow range that they even do it. When you look at how nature creates all this stuff, they're eating and drinking and cleansing themselves in 1,000 different ways. But it's like everything else in our society. I know you're doing this with your dual studio appearance, but down here in South Florida, for like just before Thanksgiving, we've had nothing but chemtrails again, even though they're banned in the state. So we're getting bombarded with chemicals. We have no idea what they are.
No.
And of course, the stress of it, the chemical contamination, that's all the things that are going to cause so-called disease symptoms. The symptoms are, they actually named the disease for the symptom, basically. IBD. Yeah, you got irritated bowel syndrome. Okay, what's the cure for it? Quit irritating the damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, I'm going to get hate for this, but I hate to tell you, people, not everybody in the whole world has ADD, okay? And like, everybody owns this ADD. If they get a little hyper, they have ADD. If they do that, like, first of all, there's nothing wrong with energy, people. Okay, you should have energy. If you don't have energy, your body is not in good health. That's number one. Number two is, it's like this thing, and now all of a sudden animals have ADD. Get the hell out of here. Okay, animals don't need Ritalin or Adderall because they have ADD. Like, come on. Okay, that is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. And the fact of the matter is how do we know it's helping them? Like maybe it's not. And you talk about pain relievers. Okay, so we already know there's some pretty bad side effects for pain relievers for humans.
Yes.
How bad is it for our pets?
I keep asking them all. I still can't get a straight answer. I just haven't figured out their language yet. But I can look at them and I can tell by their physical being. They're knocked out. They're sluggish. They're lethargic. Many cases we have secondary issues, loose stool, vomiting, all the gastric things. That's all a big part of it. And, the other thing with painkillers, and this is the worst part about it, and this is why we try to do a more natural approach. But let's say you've got a shoulder problem or your dog has got a hip problem and you give them a heavy-duty painkiller. Well, I don't feel anything there, so I'm going to keep using it. And, on people, the next thing you know, it's a stronger painkiller. And then it's like, oh, you need surgery to replace the joint because you totally ripped it up.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't feel it.
Not to do something, if you can't feel it? That's the dumbest part about it to me.
Yes.
Okay. Like you're saying, you have to heal. You're not going to heal. Like, let's say you break your arm. You're not going to heal if you keep using that arm that's broken. And if you have painkillers and you don't feel the pain, you're not going to know when you're using it. Like, I want to know when I feel the pain so I know, I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's not only that. I mean, there's another step even beyond that because now that you got the painkiller in there, which is basically numbing that whole area, the body doesn't know to send the right cells, the right hormones and enzymes to that area to even start the healing. So all
Yeah.
we're doing is pushing it down the road until basically the worst types of things can happen.
So we were also going to talk a little bit about artificial stuff in foods, and I have a question for you in that realm. And it goes in line with addiction too, pet addiction. I noticed something recently at somebody's house where, okay, and this person, okay, does a lot of research and takes very good care of their animals, knows what not to give them, what to give them. Uh, and in this instance, it's only a little bit that they give the cat, but these cats, you can tell they're addicted. It's like giving them cocaine or something. It's whipped cream. What makes cats go crazy over whipped cream? Or is it just that they liked the taste of it when they first tasted it and now they're like, ooh.
Well, they are addicted, number one. Number two, we've been feeding domestic cats and dogs raw dairy products for forever. And because commercial pet foods are so deplete of nutrients, anything that they can sense that might be in there that they can use, they will eat inappropriately. I mean, that's why we have dogs that are eating poop, because, and a big one is that they go after the cat poop because the cat diets have got a much higher protein level, a lot more meat, if you will, for a carnivore in it. And what they're excreting is actually better than most of the pet foods that are on the market today.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is. And then, of course, like the dog foods, okay, they put food color on it. Dogs are colorblind. What, why would we add a synthetic color to a food to an animal that's colorblind?
I don't even know why you would do it to begin with, whether colorblind or not. I mean, like, that's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. Well, not the most. There's a lot of the most.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. In the food, in the additive department, all the flavor enhancers, which are addictive drugs, basically, the preservatives, the pre-processed components that all contain these same things. So you're getting a multitude of layers in any ultra processed food, whether it be for dogs, cats, people, even horses. They do the same thing with almost all livestock today. And this is what's leading to all the health problems. And then you go to your so-called physician, and they just add more poison on top of it, and you just keep adding until the layer of additives and the layer of drugs equal each other.
Oh my!
Can't make stuff up.
I'm telling you, you really can't. Is there anything else you want to add about, pain relievers, pet addictions, foods, all that before we go?
Well, the whole thing is you got to start out with the basics. What do these animals need? What's a species appropriate diet? We can't decide on that even in people because you can go all the way from vegan to carnivore with about 27 definitions in between that. I was listening to a seminar this morning by one of the top canine cancer researcher, and it's funny because he was quoting basically what I've been saying for 20 years, and it's a new discovery. He's only been studying it for 30, but that those so-called cancer cells aren't really cancer cells, but they are regular cells that have been deformed and damaged because of chemicals in the body. But the other thing is the way even drugs and the way foods work. If you're like most people are, and most dogs today, unfortunately, running off of carbohydrates, glucose, everything will react differently than if you're running on ketones, on a ketosis diet and ketogenic diet. So even we find that the interactions in the body are totally different between those two types of energy creation. So how can you say something is working, not working, beneficial, not beneficial? It's like I said, during the pandemic, the one thing we did learn is that medicine knows nothing.
Well, thank God the pet health guru knows a lot, because you are the person that could definitely help our pets and our humans, and our humans need a lot of help too. So tell everybody how they can reach out to you, check out, My Paleo Pet, check out your show, all that good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, on online, the show is Pet Health Cafe. It's found on YouTube and, of course, on stations here on the W4.
HC Radio, Health Cafe Live.
Yeah, all of those. And actually on the audio part, we're on hundreds of stations worldwide. So if you like looking at me, that's fine. Do the video. If you just want to, if you're driving down the highway, listen to it on your, whatever device you use.
Wherever you listen to your podcasts, tune into Pet Health Cafe, and you can catch all of the past shows.
Yeah, and of course, I'm available for consultations and that sort of thing for both people and for pets. You can book those right on mypaleopet.com, and we'll be glad to at least direct you in a direction where you can create your own healthy space. Nice.
Well, once again, enlightening and a pleasure to have the pet health guru here on the Positively Pipeman segment of the Adventures of Pipeman. And we'll see you again next week.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.